Back with Bobby and JJ Radio. We're speaking with Joseph Palumbo of Filestack. Been having some really good conversations about this awesome tech company here in San Antonio. If you missed any of the interview, you go to bobbyandjjradio.com. Be a fan of the show on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We will be on SoundCloud on Monday, and Joseph's good-looking face will be on YouTube in about a week from now, so check out that as well. So we're going to jump right back into it. So Joseph, this is important to us as real estate agents, and I think for us as a city. Why is Filestack, this techie company, located in San Antonio versus another tech hub?
Yeah, so I could definitely see how somebody in the tech community could possibly see being in San Antonio maybe as a disadvantage. I mean, there are definitely some ordained tech hubs, right? You know, San Francisco, Boulder's one of them. You have Silicon Alley in New York. Austin is definitely up and coming. San Antonio is definitely becoming a tech hub.
We're feeling that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I'm a local, born and raised.
Cool.
So I always kind of thought, you know, part of my career took me to California,
right?
And really thought that that's where I was going to have to live if I wanted to pursue a career in cutting edge technology.
Right.
And had to come back due to some family issues, and thought, well, there goes that career choice. But then Rackspace happened, right? So Rackspace, I think, really has been the lightning rod. It's got a lot of companies in orbit around it, and we have some people that are extremely passionate about making San Antonio a tech-friendly city. Particularly Lou Mormon with the Tech Blog organization, who I have to give him just mad props for the work that he's done bringing tech to San Antonio. So San Antonio really is, I think, a big advantage for Filestack in the sense that it is got a ton of tech talent. It's very friendly to tech startup companies, as well as to, I'm gonna be honest, it's just great to bring in people because they love our cost of living and they love our food. Yeah,
the food definitely helps. Yeah, we're one of two agents that are members of Geekdom.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
yeah.
we've been trying to office out there for half a day a week, but it's tough. But and that's gonna kind of segue into what you kind of help with the tech world here in the San Antonio metro area. The reason that Geekdom started was because you try to get these people to collaborate together, because they tend to be introverted by nature, you know, like if they're technology savvy. And obviously Geekdom's kind of solved that problem maybe a little bit. But you've actually mentored business owners, don't you?
Yeah, I've definitely over my career, I have certainly shared my experiences and lessons learned in as many ways as I can.
So why do you think in this tech industry, why it's so difficult for communication, like elevator speeches, or why is it so hard for the jargon just starts to get too complex? Why?
You know, I think that's a very complex answer, and I could talk for a long time on it. But I'll give you the kind of the short version,
Sure.
Which is one, they don't. A lot of tech companies, a lot of technology people don't prioritize the communication aspect of building their business. Right? They are so close to their product. They build it every day. They talk about it every day. They just, it's kind of second nature to them. But here's the problem. There's this burden of knowledge. So if they're talking to somebody outside of their organization, somebody who may not be, you know, into, in my case, you know, file management, right, or web development,
or even a layman like myself.
Sure, exactly. With anybody, or even another developer who just hasn't worked with this particular style of API before. Sometimes, you know, if I don't really think about it, if I'm not conscious about it, there's like context that's missing when I'm explaining exactly what my product does. And I've seen this time and time again in all the different organizations I've been a part of. We'll bring an engineer into a sales meeting to explain a product that he or she's been working on, and they will just passionately go into it, and you could tell they're excited about it, but they're just talking about, you know, so deep in the technical weeds that a lot of time we're just missing the headline, right?
Yeah.
And at a point in my career, you know, I was one of those techie, geeky engineers, and then I switched over to a marketing position. And my biggest challenge was learning how to get out of those technical weeds and talk about products that I was very, very, you know, technically entrenched in, be able to talk about it to anybody, to the developer, to the business owner, to
possible investors.
Exactly.
So, don't you also think that you guys are so organically growing so much that you're adding this and you're adding that and you're so excited and you want to keep on, it's almost like you keep on tweaking it over and over and over again. Like, now we can do this, now we can do that, now we can do this again. Do you think that's part of also why it gets so clustered or foggy?
Yeah, so I think definitely one of the traps I've seen companies fall into, and even within some of the organizations that I've been a part of, is we sometimes innovate for the sake of innovation. We see it almost as a personal challenge, right? Mm-hmm. So we may want to add a feature or a new function or make something optimized because it's a challenge from an engineering perspective, but it doesn't really translate to the customer. What it always comes down to is if you're not solving a problem for your customer base, you shouldn't be there. Like, you don't have a job, right? I mean, you really don't have a business, that is.
Sure.
So it's number one, it's kind of keeping the customer in mind. And I think once you do that, number one, your engineering gets a lot better, which translates to a better product. But then you start thinking about, okay, if we build in this feature, how do I go explain this to a customer? You know, a customer might look at one of our transformations that we can do, our conversions for images, and they're like, oh, that's cool.
But then how many times do I wear mariachi pants? Right.
So it comes up. It comes up often, actually. You'd be surprised.
Is that the common?
Yeah, mariachi as a service is a big thing in the Bay Area.
Yeah, but JJ plays a flute, and he's I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm changing.
A flute playing mariachi.
I'm changing the game, dude. Changing the game.
Yeah. He's like the Jethro Tull mariachis with the pan flute.
But what do you think is so important for these business owners to communicate their services effectively?
Well, because a lot of times what I find is value can be locked inside of a product. And what I usually...
I'm going to steal that, dude.
Go ahead, man. It's so true. And when I've hired engineers in the past and I've hired, support techs and stuff like that, I always kind of give them the same speech. And that is, I don't care how smart you are. You're the smartest person in the world. I don't care if I can't get that knowledge out of your head and into my customer's head. Then you serve me no purpose. So it's the ability, you can be the smartest person, the greatest engineer, but if you can't share that knowledge with the people around you or with your customers, your effectiveness is basically nil.
Right, makes sense. We're going to take a quick break, be right back with Joseph. You can check out some more information on Filestack at filestack.com. If you want to contact him directly, you can email him at Palumbo, that's Palumbo at filestack.com, or call 210-246-3654. Again, that's 210-246-3654. This is Bobby and JJ Radio. We'll be right back.